A big commitment for Florida State in the 2024 class as TJ Abrams commits to the Noles. The four-star out of Fort Myers, Florida, picked FSU, and their 2024 class moves just ahead of Notre Dame into third in the 247 class rankings. Abrams is a very good pickup for the Seminoles, who have been involved with him since we offered in last April. He visited both LSU and Texas A&M over the summer, but this is one that FSU absolutely put the clamps on, and they made sure that Abrams ended up in their committed class. Florida State focused here and closed out on the trail, which is something you'll love to see this early in the cycle. We mentioned the class rankings, and it's cool to have a top 5 class right now and be knocking on the door with the big boys, but things will change, and there's a long way to go until signing day, but you'd rather lead from the front. And Florida State has a ton of momentum on the recruiting trail. He's a dual sport athlete, and we've talked about this before. Guy runs track. You cannot teach speed, and you'll love guys that are putting in the effort in high school to be multi-sport athletes. Both football and track, obviously very well linked. He's a guy that Florida State's thrilled to have on campus, and you're seeing some highlights right now of him using that speed. He's a really, really good route runner, and this is probably the best part of his game. This is probably the part of his game that I love the most. He is absolutely clean running routes. He's open a ton due to that speed we talked about and the fact that he's such a precise route runner. He does a good job getting in and out of his cuts, and he's often wide open on passes because of how good and efficient he is running there. That should only improve when he gets to the next level. He also fights hard for the ball. A lot of times he's wide open, but you'll even see some highlights here where he goes up and he makes plays happen. You love a playmaker. You love a guy that is pretty widely regarded as a speedster, but also somebody who will mix it up and make a lot of plays. He's got really good hands too. Obviously, kid's not going to put drops into his highlight tape, but his hands are really good. And something that I think Florida State is super excited about having on campus is a guy with really reliable hands like Abrams has. He's a top 300 recruit, according to 247. Those guys don't grow on trees, right? There are tens of thousands of recruits out there, and Florida State picks up a guy that's in that top 300, a really elite prospect, and somebody that they're excited to have. This is bigger than just one commitment, though. And we're going to talk about that after we give a little bit of a love to our friends over at Garnet and Gold. GarnetandGold.com. They are the absolute best and your one-stop shop for all things FSU apparel, licensed gear, and merchandise. They're family-owned and operated, and they also have employed thousands of FSU students down through the years. You should certainly be shopping with them, whether you're shopping today, tomorrow, or in the future. Make sure you're using code NOSLAW. That's NOSLAW when you're checking out. You'll get 15% off of your order. That's on top of their already great prices. Make sure that you're saving money with Garnet and Gold today. Again, garnetandgold.com, the only place you should be shopping for FSU gear. No slaw at checkout. NOSLAW for 15% off. TJ was on campus last weekend, and the results and dividends from FSU winning 10 games last season are already starting to pay off. You're seeing more and more guys on campus now who are of that 4- and 5-star caliber than you saw last year. Florida State's momentum in recruiting right now is way different than it has been over the last year or so. Fans wondered why 10 wins didn't just immediately help that 2023 class. And we were pretty honest with you guys. We told you that would happen. With how early signing day is backed up so much now and how guys want to commit a lot of times before their senior seasons even start, it's really hard for even a very good winning season to make a lot of difference in a recruiting class. If you don't have juice with kids early, it's hard to manufacture and get that back. The teams that finished ahead of you won a lot of games. And so when you're fighting with Alabama and Georgia and Michigan, and they all won 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games, it's hard for your 10 wins to just all of a sudden look better than theirs. That said, Florida State has juice with the 2024 kids right now. The elite of the elite. They've already got a 5-star committed. They're very close on another 5-star or two, and they've got other 4-star guys that are highly ranked that they're pursuing and close to. You add in guys like Abrams, who are very solid 4-star blue chip recruits, and there's a lot of momentum right now in Tallahassee on the recruiting trail. Again, we told you that by winning 10 games last year, this would happen. you got to give a little credit to Ron Dugans here as well. His recruiting has certainly improved over the last year or so, and I think some things could certainly improve in the development game for Florida State, but the recruiting that Dugans is doing over the last year and a half or so has been pretty special. Great wide receiver class this year with Lawrence and Hakeem and others. Obviously, we know what he did in the transfer portal the year before. And then you add Abrams, and you've got other guys that are looking at FSU at that wide receiver position. I got to give a tip of the hat to Ron Dugans here. Fans wanted Mike Norvell to move on from Ron Dugans just to make a change. A change for the sake of a change is not always the best thing to do. I think Florida State wanted to upgrade that position coach if they could. They didn't think they could, and so they stuck with Dugans. And it's paying off for Florida State. Yet again, though fans clamored for that change, Mike Norvell was right here, and the results are showing themselves. Abrams fills a need at wide receiver because Florida State's going to have a couple of guys who go pro after this year. Stay tuned to the channel because there's more good news coming soon for FSU, and you don't want to miss out. If you're looking at 2023 and want to know why and how Jordan Travis is already focusing on the national championship, you can click here. Do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the good content. Give me a big Go Noles in the comments as we celebrate the commitment of TJ Abrams. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon. Go Noles.